Welcome to the Explainer. So let's talk about something fundamental in the world of search and AI. You ask a system for information, and it gives you a bunch of results. But how do we know if those results are any good? We're going to break down the two key ways to measure that: precision and recall.
It all starts with this really simple question that, honestly, we all face every single day. You type something into a search bar, you get a whole list of results back. But how do you actually measure if they're any good? I mean, beyond just a gut feeling, right? Beyond just, this looks about right.
See, in the world of information retrieval, just getting something back isn't good enough. If we want to make these systems better, if we want to compare one against another, we need a formal, consistent way to measure their quality. We have to agree on what good actually means.
And that is where these two heavy hitters come in. We're going to dive into two concepts that have been the bedrock of this field for decades: precision and recall.
All right, let's get into it. First up, precision. You can think of this one as our quality control metric. So put simply, precision asks a really direct question about that list of results you just got. Of all the stuff the system gave you, what percentage of it is actually useful? How much of it is on target, and how much is just irrelevant junk, noise? This is what we often care about most, just getting the right answer and getting it fast.
Okay, so let's flip to the other side of the coin, because there's another piece to this puzzle. What about recall? Well, if precision is all about quality, recall is all about completeness. It's about quantity. Recall asks a much bigger question. It's not just about the results you got. It's about every single good result that exists out there in the whole universe of documents. Of everything that should have been on your list, how many did the system actually manage to find and give to you? Everything it missed is considered lost.
Okay, I get it. These definitions can feel a little academic, a little abstract. So let's ditch the words for a second and just use a picture to make this super clear.
Okay, check this out. This simple little Venn diagram, this is pretty much everything you need to know. It puts what the system found in one circle and what is actually true and relevant in the other. So let's just break this down real quick. That circle on the left, that's every single relevant document that exists for your search. The whole shebang. The circle on the right, that's the answer the system actually gave you. And that sweet spot right in the middle, that overlap, that's the bullseye. That's the relevant stuff you actually found.
And what's so cool about this visual is that we can turn it directly into some really simple math.
Seriously, the formulas map perfectly onto this picture. You'll see that precision is all about what's going on inside that answer set circle, while recall is totally focused on what's happening in the relevant doc circle. Let me show you what I mean.
So for precision, it's pretty straightforward. You take the number of things you got right, that's the stuff in the overlap, and you just divide it by the total number of things the system gave you, the size of that whole right circle. It's the fraction of your answer that was actually correct.
Now, for recall, the top part of the fraction is the same, the stuff you got right. But the bottom part is different. This time, you divide it by the total number of relevant things that actually exist out there, the size of the whole left circle. It's the fraction of all the correct answers that you managed to find.
Okay, so this all seems pretty simple, right? Well, here's the catch. This is the central challenge when you're building one of these systems. You can't just crank both of these up to 100%. There's an inevitable trade-off.
You can really see how precision and recall are kind of pulling in opposite directions. It's like this constant tug-of-war. Precision is fighting to get rid of all the junk, the noise, and only give you pure gold. But recall is fighting to make sure you don't miss anything important. One wants accuracy, the other wants completeness.
It's funny, our source material even calls this out. It compares it to that classic computer science problem, time versus space, right? Sometimes you can make a program faster if you use more memory, or use less memory if you let it run slower. It's the exact same idea here. You often have to sacrifice a little precision to get more recall, or the other way around.
Hey, think about it this way. Let's say you wanted to be incredibly precise. You could be so picky that you only return one single, perfect, flawless result. Well, your precision would be 100%. Awesome. But your recall would probably be terrible because you just missed all those other perfectly good, relevant documents.
And this isn't just theoretical stuff, right? This trade-off has huge, real-world consequences. A lawyer searching for legal cases, they cannot afford to miss a single important case. They need extremely high recall. But you, doing a quick web search for a recipe, you probably just want the best answer right at the top of the first page. You value high precision. And interestingly, our source notes that with the absolutely massive amount of data out there today, precision is often what matters most to us regular users. So the next time you type something into a search box, think about this. What do you really want? Do you want a perfect, but maybe incomplete set of results? Or would you rather see every possible answer, even if it means you have to sift through a little bit of noise? That choice right there between precision and recall is at the very heart of how we find information.